So we're doing a little work today with motors here. I've got the Hesine PLA 94112EL version 1.3 here. So my kit did come with the bootloader for this, the XMC 1100 for Arduino. And this basically has the Arduino built into it. It's just meant for programming your motor shield without having to use an Arduino. This guy is great. I don't have the files set up on my Raspberry Pi right now, and that's what I'll be using today. I've pre-installed one of the testing scripts onto here just to see what'll happen, and I'm just gonna add a motor to it, and then I'm gonna run it and see what happens there. So I've got the 12-volt power supply here. I ended up having to redo the fan in it. It was all seized up there, and unfortunately when you get these and they've got so many hours on them, it's gonna happen. You know what, we're just gonna go with this DC brushless pump for this example here. Ground to ground. I actually want to use this pump in a project with this board. I have to learn more about this board. As a hobbyist, I'm sure it's gonna be quite the learning curve. Keep playing until I figure it out and learn more code. I've been doing a lot of that lately, so that's why I haven't been putting out so many videos. It's a little boring watching me just learn code, curse and swear that something's not working right. So I love the fact that you can have so many motors on this. It'd be definitely great for, you can have up to 11 motors, it says. So if you were to make a robot with, just gonna plug her in and see what happens here. Is this the pump or is, no, this isn't the pump that I was thinking about using. But so I wonder if we take, I got another one here. I got this one here just because the intake on it, basically this one here didn't have a direct connection for it, and for the project that I wanted, I need to have it nice and sealed like that. So this is going to be the intake, this is going to be the outtake. I may fry the motor here based on what I think should happen, and then I want to see it go through its cycles here and what kind of voltage is actually getting to them through this. Just waiting on the Raspberry Pi to boot. Let's get her going. So basically what I read, I should have it set up properly. I'm not 100% sure though. Arduino is connected. And now we're gonna go serial monitor. So it's pumping out code right now. It's looping through its system here. And now we're just gonna apply power to the shield. I'm getting 12.1 on this one. Is this guy working? Okay, so this guy's not working, so maybe it might just be the way I have it. Well, that's not good. I'm gonna try it one more time on my power supply here. I'm gonna have to think about this for a few minutes here, what I want to do next. Unfortunately, it's not playing right. This is definitely not working out the way I wanted it to. I'm gonna have to do some more research on this board. Not too sure. I do believe this is a 6-volt motor. I'm not 100% sure. I think, or 5 volt or 6 volt. But this is a 12 volt, and on my output on my multimeter, it'll get to 12.1 volts, which should be enough to turn it, but it won't do it. I got to do some more homework on this board. Unfortunately, I don't want to wreck anything quite yet, but what I can do is I can start continuing to work on the Raspberry Pi, doing an image for this for the mostly printed CNC machine. All the files, basically everything you need to get going. I'm gonna have, I think I'll update it monthly, fully functional, and it'll be able to control your mostly printed CNC machine. I was just tinkering a little bit with this shield here, just to see if it was gonna work for what I want. You know what, if you don't try, you don't know. So I'm definitely curious to dig into that more and see what I can do. And then I will be back with a cable going to my mostly printed CNC machine, and we'll see what's going on the Pi. What I would like to do is I would like to have Universal G-Code Sender launch on start. So I was just trying to figure out if there was any way I could do that. It looks like I could. But then I'm thinking maybe not everyone wants it so it launches right directly into it. So I might just have to make a file on the desktop, just launching it. I'm waiting to, oh, the motor's kicked in. We have connection. Okay. Oh. Okay, so machine controls. And we're gonna go over here and enable the keyboard movement. Okay, that's pretty jittery, but we have a working, let me show you this. So right now I do only have it on a USB extension. I'll build something else after, but for now it was just this week getting the Raspberry Pi to the point where the machine was working, the software was set up, and then I'll configure the desktop stuff, and then I will start putting out builds for it. I'm still learning a lot of programming, a lot of playing around, so you have to bear with me because it is a learning experience for me. I'm very limited. Back when I was programming, it was back in like 1997, 98, so that's when I was really into it, besides doing websites and things like that. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'll get more options done. We'll get things tweaked and running pretty smoothly here. So now I have it set to inches, and well, it looks more than an inch to me. Oh no, that's about right. Yeah. Okay, so it is moving an inch. Also put on the desktop of the Raspberry Pi, I'm gonna have my settings for Gerbil. That way you can adjust your Gerbil settings to match mine if you want, or you can put them however you like, but just so you have a starting point of where to go. That's awesome. I'm glad I got that working. Basically, this week is just me playing around with software. So I do know that there's a ton of software out there that you can use. besides universal G-code sender, but over the last year and a bit now, I've come to just absolutely love it. On my Windows 7 computer there, I'm not going to upgrade to the newest version of universal G-code sender. I do believe there is another version. Main thing with me was the power consumption when it came to having a computer going. The CNC machine, the monitor, the vacuum system, the lighting, everything. It's just all of a sudden this becomes a radioactive room. It becomes like 5 degrees warmer, and it's just, to me, if I can cut power, the better. So if I can take 400 watts down to the Raspberry Pi, which is running right now at 5 volts, 2 amps, so 10 watt, it's a huge difference in heat. I do have a console that I want to house everything in, but I also do want to make an overhead vacuum system with a rack on it, so that way I can also mount a monitor, the Raspberry Pi, and all that kind of stuff in an enclosure. I would like to use like a 7-inch touch screen or something that I can kind of move around as well on an arm. So that way if I want it over here, or depending on where I am, I can touch to actually use the buttons that are on universal G-code sender. I think that would be pretty sweet to be able to actually use this as a functioning console. Oops. So first things first when it comes to this, and that's just getting the software right. Now I know the connection works on it, so now I can take this to my other computer room, get the software how I want it. Next week I will use the Raspberry Pi for a couple of projects, I think, and I'm going to get to work on building my setup a little bit better here. So stay tuned for that. We got more mostly printed CNC stuff coming, and I'll talk about my machine and just little things about it. If you guys have any questions about my machine or of the mostly printed CNC machine, post them below in this video, and I'll make sure to try to respond to them in the next video here as well. Make sure you like and subscribe. We'll see you next week. Have a great day, great week, and take care, eh?